Welcome back to Rusconi's American Kitchen cooking class. We're going to do something a little different. I think we've done a twist on this before. We're going to do a different twist. It is the season for Meyer lemons. I have this wonderful Meyer lemon tree in my backyard that produces these great Meyer lemons. For those of you that don't know very much about these, which like I didn't until about 20 years ago, I say that like it was yesterday. Meyer lemon is an improved lemon brought over from China by a gentleman that worked for the Food and Drug Administration, I believe, and his last name was Meyer. That's why it's named Meyer lemon. They believe this to be a lemon that was crossbred with a mandarin orange. So the longer you leave these on the tree, they go from green to yellow to almost like orange, like a regular orange. You can see this one's got some wonderful color. What's really great about these is the zest. The zest has so much flavor and imparts what we call essential oil in the foods that we make with it. You know, chefs like to preserve these and serve them with seafood on salads and stuff like that. Today, we're going to incorporate them in some mascarpone cheese with a little bit of the juice from the lemon, and then we're going to make some French toast with brioche. So the ingredients you're going to have for this is mascarpone, brioche, Meyer lemon, strawberries. We're going to stuff it a little bit, eggs, cinnamon, sugar. You can use a little vanilla. I think we have a little juice here ready to go. And that's about it. But I'm going to start off. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zest a little bit of this. Now, when you zest something like this, you only want the zest. You don't want the white pith part or the rind because that's very, very bitter. So I'm going to take this vegetable peeler. If you want to use at home a zester, that works good. It's not necessary. You get a little bit more often. It's a little bit more rewarding using a peeler like this. Just don't put a lot of pressure on it. You can see it, that's coming off nicely and there's no white stuff on there. You can also do this for cocktails too. If you want to do a Meyer lemon twist in a cocktail, it's really, really nice. So I'm not going to need a whole lot of this. And I think Chef Nick is this lemon juice or Meyer lemon? So he's already gone ahead and squeezed some Meyer lemon for me. But you can see I've peeled these. Both sides of the peel, there's nothing, no white left to it. So I'm going to chiffonade these very, very finely here. I'm going to stack them to make my life a little bit easier. And I'm just going to kind of go to town on this. Rolled off the table. Start bouncing around. I'm going to go very, very fine here. Keep your fingers tucked. Always curl your fingers and have them right up against your knife. Don't bring your knife up on the board very high, excuse me. I'm going to turn this sideways since it's about done. Okay, so now I'm going to take and go the other way and chop it really, really fine. I wish you could smell this. It's so pungent. It fills the room with the smell of Meyer lemon. So I'm going to go ahead at this point. I'm going to get a little heat under my pan to warm it up for when I do my French toast. I have some mascarpone. It's about a cup. And I'm going to just take, mascarpone's a little bit soft. It will spread better. I'm going to take with a rubber spatula. And this is only zest of one Meyer lemon. So I'm going to go right on in there with it. And I'm actually going to put just a little bit of Meyer lemon juice. About a teaspoon. So I've got about a cup of mascarpone, zest of one Meyer lemon, about a teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon of Meyer lemon juice. And I'm just going to mix this up really, really well. I'm going to put a touch of sugar right on in there. Just a pinch. Yeah, maybe 2 pinches. And then I'm going to go, I talk about vanilla paste and how nice it is to have vanilla paste. I'm going to go about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla paste. Why do I like vanilla paste so much? Because there's usually not a whole lot of alcohol in it. It usually is made with a simple syrup, which is made with sugar and water. So it's really just, and you can see, you can see how, you can see the vanilla seeds are redolent. So you get a lot of great flavor. It's a less expensive than buying vanilla beans and scraping them to get flavor out of them. I know a lot of pastry chefs are using them these days. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute, and I'm going to do the fruit. Now, you can do any fruit you want. I'm going to choose to do strawberries. I think strawberries go really well. The lemon juice, the Meyer lemon juice, really brightens this up. It sort of opens up your taste buds on your palate when you start eating it. So I'm going to hold these. So I've got some wonderful strawberries. People are wondering, where'd you get those strawberries? They came up from Mexico. Last week I had some that came up from Yuma. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the garbage. And I'm going to slice a few of these. Just real quick. You probably don't want to do it that way. Keep the tip of your knife on the board and do that. Just like that. So I want enough to do a layer on my French toasts. They're beautiful. So the rest I'm going to take in 1/4 because I'm going to use these for garnish when we're done. Now one more. So I'm going to take a bowl. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar over these to sort of macerate them. Just like that. I'm going to let these sit a minute. I'm going to have a little sip of water. At least I tell you it's water. What do you think it is? All right, so I have my sliced strawberries ready to go. I'm going to slide those over so they're out of the way. I need to make an egg wash. So I'm going to take a couple eggs. And I'm going to crack a couple eggs. 1, 2, probably 3. I'm only making one order. Be free to increase the volume. We'll see how much egg wash we have left. So in the egg wash, what's going to go in the egg wash? Well, I want to put some sugar in the egg wash. I'm going to put some cinnamon in the egg wash. So just a pinch of both. I'm also going to use some heavy cream in the egg wash. Just a little bit, as if the eggs weren't enough. Maybe a 1/4 cup. So a 1/4 cup to about three eggs. I'm going to mix this up. You can see I've already made a mess. Probably should have used a little bit larger bowl, but that's my fault. Now, if you don't have heavy cream at home, go ahead and use a little milk. I'm actually going to use a little milk too, because this is a little too thick as is. So just a couple ounces of milk. So I don't want it to be too thick, because if it's too thick, it won't soak into my French toast very well. All right, so what do I have? I have a nice egg wash. I'm going to put the egg wash in a pan that I can work with a little bit better. And I've picked out a pan, so hopefully you'll be able to see it a little bit. It's flat, straight sides. You know, if you have a baking dish at home, that's a good one to use. So I'm going to take and set this off to the side for now. I have this ready to go. What am I going to do next? Drink a little, you know. Anyway, so I have some wonderful brioche. We sliced it. We cut it pretty thick, maybe a little too thick. I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm going to work with it. So we're going to go ahead and build the French toast. So how am I going to do that? Well, first I got to start with spreading some of the mascarpone on the bread. I'm going to make sure I have a decent amount of heat going over there, because I don't want to have to wait. At home, you can use a Teflon pan. If you have a griddle, use a griddle. I'm going to go on a little bit on both sides. Not real heavy, just a nice layer. What's next? I'm going to go with some strawberries. Got these beautiful strawberries. I'm going to just lay them out like this. So why did I choose to do this? Well, Christmas is coming up. It's a week from Friday, right? It's a good thing to do for Christmas breakfast. You know, it's something where you can set these up like this the night before. And it's okay, because here's the thing about it. The mascarpone helps create a protective layer. So if you do these the night before and you don't macerate these, you shouldn't get too much bleed out, and it should work just fine. More than a night before is too much. Got a little of that flipped over the edge there. I'm going to kind of push that back in. So I'm going to put them together. Now, if you saw what I did, the French toast has a shape to it. I want to put these back together that way. But, excuse me. And hopefully that'll work out. I'm going to put this together like a little sandwich. Going to kind of smush it down a little bit. I had a little extra cream cheese or mascarpone. Mascarpone is sort of an Italian-style cream cheese. They're loosely related. So it's a little neater. So I'm going to go ahead and melt a little bit of butter in my pan. My pan's a little warmer than I want it. So I'm going to pull that off the heat. Let it cool just a minute. And we'll be all right. I'm going to set this aside for now. So what's next? Well, you want to soak your French toast. Okay, we have our nice egg wash. Now I'm going to let it sit a minute. It's really important that we let it soak in. Just a little bit. Or else you get bread with eggs on the outside. That's working nicely, soaking in. So what else do we have? We made a little berry sauce to go along with this, and caramel sauce. You can use basic recipes. I think I've talked about caramel sauce before. If you Google Chef Rasconi's caramel sauce. There's a cheater caramel sauce out there that is made with brown sugar that I did to make it easy because it's a little tricky to caramelize sugar at home. Now you basically have to cook your sugar to 320 degrees. But anyway, we're going to move along here. I have the French toast ready to go. I think we're good on the egg wash. I'm going to bring my pan over so I don't drizzle my egg wash all over the place. And I'm going to just cook this a little bit. Now that'll take a couple minutes, probably 4 to 5 minutes, I would say. You're kind of doing two things with that. The one thing you want to do is you want to cook the eggs, but you also want to heat this enough so that the mascarpone in the middle is warm. The one thing we did is we cut that just a little too thick. It kind of hurts that process a little bit. I'm going to back the heat off so we don't brown our eggs too much while we're doing this, because we do want that to heat through a little bit. You can see that's very nicely nice and loose. You know what I'm going to do while we're waiting? I'm going to spoon a little bit more egg wash right over this and let it soak in a little bit more while we're sitting here. Disclaimer, I've never done this before. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. So we'll see what happens here. I'll let that soak in. Oh, yeah. That way you get that nice, soft, flavorful French toast when we're done. So I have my macerated berries. The sugar helps break them down a little bit. The further in advance you do this, the more syrupy it will get. So I just have a little sheen that the sugar's drawing the moisture out. I'm going to go a little bit more sugar here. We're going to use a little berry sauce on it anyway. So what else do I have? The caramel sauce I talked about. Berry sauce. You can use maple syrup on this if you want. So what's happened is that the egg wash that I just kind of ladled over the top of this, it's kind of soaked in now. It looks kind of nice. Might have been a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over now. And I'm just going to let that sit and talk to you about goofy stuff like COVID. Hope you're masking up, staying safe, going out to restaurants that are good behavior type restaurants that allow you to social distance, have great ventilation like open kitchens and big exhaust hoods that ventilate the air out of the restaurant, actually helps keep you healthy and safe. Funny thing is, through all of this and all these cases, I haven't had anybody get sick in the restaurant yet. Not one employee has gone down with it. I had one hostess at the very beginning that got it from her best friend. Other than that, nobody in the restaurant has gotten sick. Why is that if restaurants are so dangerous? Because they're not. Bad behavior is what's dangerous. So the French toast is going really well. Oh, it's looking beautiful. I'm going to flip it over one more time. Actually, 2 more times. I kind of lied. Oh, you know what? I want to leave it. I don't like that. It needs a little bit more color yet. So maybe I back the heat off a little too much. I'm gonna just turn that up a little. Oh, it's looking good. I can tell it's warming nicely. Those eggs are cooking. You're going to have that nice moist brioche with that Meyer lemon scented mascarpone, some strawberries in the middle. Hopefully we have a little more color on it now before I flip this over again. I'm going to peek. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. A little bit more. We're going to turn it up. My wife shrugs when I start talking about COVID. I think it's important for everybody to be responsible. That's the only way restaurants are going to stay open. So I think we're about done. We got great color. Look at that. You can see it. The cheese is starting to ooze out the sides a little bit. That tells me it's warm, because when the cheese warms, it starts to get thinner. So I'm going to take this out. Look at that. It looks pretty good. Almost like we know what we're doing. So I got breadcrumbs all over my plate. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. It's nice and soft. Oh. What next? We're going to stack that like that. We want to make it look cute. Looks good so far. Looks nice and moist. Looks warm. The cheese is a little runny. Gotta like that. What are we going to do next? I have some berry sauce. If you want to use maple syrup, you can do that. I'm just going to go like this and do some berry sauce this way. And I'm also going to do some caramel sauce. Maybe I'll go the other way with the caramel sauce. Caramel sauce is a little thicker. You can even warm your caramel sauce up if you want. It makes it a little easier to work with for this application. If you warm your plates up for this beforehand, it warms the caramel sauce instantly and it runs a little bit. So what else we have? Oh, we have some berries. But before we put the berries on, I'm going to go a little powdered sugar over the top. Just a little bit. I don't want to get too sloppy with it. I want to be able to see what I've done. So I don't want to mask everything with it. I just want a light dust. And then we have some berries that we kind of styled up a little bit. And we're going to put those fresh berries on here like this. Just have them kind of falling off here and there. Oh, there you have it. Rusconi's American Kitchen, mascarpone and strawberry stuffed French toast. Available every Saturday and Sunday for brunch. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week. Stay safe.